State Supreme Court Justice Mike Morgan surprised a lot of people when he retired from the bench.
Justice Morgan says he did so to make North Carolina an even better place. CBS 17's Russ Bowen is here now, and Russ, he laid out his plan for the state's economy.
Yes, with an emphasis on rural North Carolina. I also asked the Democrat how he would work with a Republican-controlled legislature. So you've spent the last 3 decades or so on the bench, just retired from the highest bench in the state of North Carolina. Why do you want to be governor?
I want to be governor because I want to restore the hopes and dreams of those North Carolinians that feel as though North Carolina's left them behind. State government in North Carolina is broken, and based upon some things that we know we can do better, making sure that we can fill these 3,500 teacher vacancies in our public school system, make sure that we can save lives instead of having an average of 12 people every day die from fentanyl overdoses, instead of having situations where we've got 45 days average wait time to be able to get to a DMV appointment. We can do better than that in North Carolina. And based upon those decades of experience I've had, 44 years of state government altogether, 34 years on the bench, figuring out at the highest of levels over 4 different judgeships, the fact that we can find solutions and bring people together and make sensible solutions based aside from agendas, but sensible solutions to problems, making them fair and equitable and just for everybody. That's what I did in my judicial career. That's what I bring to being governor.
You mentioned solutions. If you were to win in November of next year, you would likely face a majority Republican legislature. What sort of legislation do you think that you can work on together for a common goal? Because there will be differences, there's no question.
Well, I believe I can reach across the aisle. I've done that on the state Supreme Court, for example, those that had orientations different from me, being able to find consensus. I believe I can find consensus with those in the legislature, also assuming as well when I become governor, I'll be working with a legislature that's also being elected in 2024 that will be more conducive for which I can work. And so I feel as though by way of going through some of these differences, finding issues upon which we can agree, there's more that unites us as North Carolinians than divides us. And I feel as though in working in harmony with those, we can find some common ground and make sure we work together for North Carolina.
Anything specific you think you can both agree on?
Well, we certainly ought to be able to agree upon the fact that we need to uplift rural North Carolina. And I don't agree with the casino gambling extension. There is that orientation with some in the Republican-led legislature that feel as though the best way to uplift rural North Carolina is through casino gambling. I'm against that. I do feel as though North Carolina deserves better in our rural communities, having the kind of solution for uplifting rural North Carolina in an economic sense, that we have something that's more sustainable, something that is more energetic in terms of something that is more enriching, certainly, and something that's more worthy of rural North Carolina. A rising tide lifts all boats. And so all of us cannot merely survive, we can all thrive. But to do that with business, with our individual citizens, we need to have a global look across North Carolina at ultimately a global economy.
You and I are both from Eastern North Carolina, and we've seen it, we've lived it, where we've watched factories close or downsize from thousands to several hundred employees or just be gone. We've seen vibrant communities all but survive. How do we get these businesses there? How do we get them out of the triangle and the triad and from around Charlotte-Mecklenburg area? How do we get them into, some of these rural areas in central North Carolina?
There are those in eastern North Carolina, those in western North Carolina, and pockets all between our urban areas that are just desirous of having an opportunity to present who they are, what they are, and what is represented there for our businesses if they will only relocate there. We certainly know that North Carolina is at the top of so many lists, thankfully, in terms of great places to live, grow, work, and play. But there are those in these areas about which we talk that if just given an opportunity through the partnerships that we can have through our state, and as governor, I would make sure that we have a very vibrant working agenda and working agencies that know to go about and tout North Carolina in terms of making sure that we know through our various chambers of commerce and through our various cultural societies and so forth. The state can make sure that we can channel monies that are available to uplift North Carolina. We've done it in the film industry in Wilmington. We've done it in other ways. We can just replicate that on one hand and also emphasize it on the other hand, customize it for these certain places, whether they're in the mountains, whether they're near the coast, or anywhere in between, to make sure that business knows that North Carolina is open for business from the capital to the coast.
So in order for Justice Morgan to get on the November 2024 ballot, he has to win the primary against State Attorney General Josh Stein. So coming up at 5:30, Morgan tells me why he's best suited to compete against the Republican Lieutenant Governor in the fall election. But we focused on the economy now, guys, because that is number one time and time again when we see what's on the top of people's minds as they're polled across this state.
Yeah. All right. Russ, thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.